With Pep Guardiola out as Bayern boss, maybe they'll become weak again. Fantastic. Maybe I should have taken the Bayern offer, or even the Real Madrid interview. Regardless, this is going to be my final season. So with almost 50 million given, who did I purchase by opening day? There was one player I wanted, and his name was Piero Hincapié, a center back not only strong in marking and tackling, but he was aggressive, which I can't say about Pelletier or Kovacevic. However, the Ecuadorian had a 77 million release clause, and Leverkusen were not budging for less. That meant many who were the building blocks to this point had to be sold. Thank you to the services of Leo Graimel, fullback Tejan Bulut, and the ever so reliable Henning Matriciani. Still, that wasn't enough, meaning more players had to go, including Academy graduate Gapsi, not Sadio Mane, and Lorenzo Cruz, who was a Mexican striker bought a few years ago. I also cashed in on a couple Academy players' buyout clauses. Finally, I had to get rid of the hidden gem of Tristan Osmani. I will never forget the big moments he brought, unlike Keke Top, who was sold last season. It's just a shame he couldn't develop further. Sacrificing a little heart to sign a defender may hurt, but it will be worth it.
No, it's very simple.
Heading into the new season with the same exact team, we had to play Frankfurt on match day 1. This year, I made some tactical adjustments, such as using a complete forward instead of a target. In the team, you wouldn't see Jung, as he had multiple preseason injuries. That means you'll see more of Sarure, a promising midfielder who's been capped by Argentina. The main faces you'll see this campaign include last January's transfer of Elijah Smith in net, the Spanish fullbacks of Alex Valle and Sergio Carrera, the pacey center half of Vladimir Kovacevic, normally partnered with Michel Pelletier. In the anchor role, our new captain Niels Rosa was favored. The cams will see the 2 Brazilians start, although AO Squared will fill those roles too. Up top, we will continue to go with the Germans of Nelson Wiper and Eric Holthaus. Despite Frankfurt setting up in a 5-back, they were piling on the shots while we couldn't find a sniff. So I cooked something up in the kitchen to allow us to play with width. Maybe I shouldn't have, because 30 seconds past the added minutes, the ref allowed a throw in, and all our guys were confusingly standing there as Chaibi gets the easiest goal of his life. I was hoping for a promising second half response, but this counterattack, or lack thereof, summed up this performance. An opening loss, which tends to be a bad omen. I was waiting for Hincapie's agent to allow negotiations to reopen up. Meanwhile, we faced his client the following week. I felt better about this, especially when their best defender started at left back. That doesn't mean they lack scoring threats, as Chan Uzun did brilliantly until striking the ball wide. So from one German to another, Eric Holthaus decided to show how it was done. Leverkusen still threatened, but their lack of conviction cost them, as Wiper soon doubled the lead. They did make the match uncomfortable though. Not long after the half, a bullet header from Marin slashed the lead. Thankfully, we held out and found the third laid on. Similar to last year's schedule, RB Leipzig visited us early on. I do think we're better than them, but AO Squared in attack didn't remain for long with another injury from Ouedraogo. Look at this list. It's like I'm reading an index. Nevertheless, the other AO stepped up. Receiving a header from Sarue, he drove forward and his shot deflected off Lukeba, ruling out his transfer to Real Madrid. Leipzig were doing everything they could to get anything on the ball. In the 54th minute, Esteve would do the opposite of his partner and put it into the correct net. Since their thoughts were on goals, why don't they concede some more? Wiper gets one from this nice passage of play while getting a brace at the far post, all within a little over 10 minutes. We had to ride some luck along the way, but Leipzig were tamed with the exact same scoreline as last year. The recovery from a rough first match was nice, but I had over 80 million and I needed to spend it. Attempt 2 on Hincapie worked, making him tied for the highest paid man in the squad. I also transferred a Polish striker from Legia Warszawa named Dariusz Polek. The man certainly had a transformation, although he was loaned back until January. For Hincapie's debut, Duisburg seemed to be the perfect opponent. Not a bad club by any means, but we've only conceded a goal to them once in a competitive match. Smith even tried to help them, and they still missed. With us scoring twice and Duisburg not able to get a shot on target, it seemed routine. Hincapié was apparently having a poor game compared to Pelletier, despite a clean sheet being maintained, until the final 10, where while marking someone else, Petrovic came from the midfield to score right in front of him. Definitely a midfielder's fault, and we won, so the fans remained optimistic about the Ecuadorian. The Champions League schedule looked difficult for the most part, and it began with Napoli, who built themselves a mouth-watering attack. The ball Don with hair Baldanzi looked insane. On the wings, Badruddin Bouanani made my eyes pop out, and before I could put them back in, Ansu Fati appeared on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna need some therapy. Jeremy Doku too? I'm not even including Faradona, who was injured. Their midfield had solid players as well, featuring Yavi Guerra, Anguissa, and Gaston Sosa. Defensively, they were a tad weaker, and we now had Hincapié to make their attack all talk. Let's go worry about the Champions League matches for later while I go cry in the corner. Despite Niels Rosa getting sent off versus Wolfsburg, Schalke still managed to find a win, with Wiper catching our opponents against the run of play. Finally, we earned a clean sheet, with Hincapié on the bench. To finish off September, we visited Stuttgart, who lost their manager at the beginning of the month. Rumors began circulating about Allegri becoming the new man in charge, especially after a 1-0 win over Frankfurt. Then that quickly evaporated when they wasted their energy by actually scoring goals. Oh, yuck. Instead, they brought in Rene Wagner, who got Leeds United back into the Premier League. We'd be his first opponent, so let's give him a welcoming party. Nelson and Duarte, do it.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. What?
Wiper grabbed a hat-trick, while the Brazilian Duarte Gaia grabbed 2, along with 3 assists. But it's a shame an international break slowed down the momentum. Nuremberg were giving more problems than anticipated, with them equalizing the score in the 61st minute. It took time, but prior to the 90th, Salihovic delivered it to Wiper for the winner. This was also the game where Jung made his return, but he was struggling to get back into form. He stumbled against Damien Duff's Bochum, who were in last place, as it ended in a scoreless draw. A lot of tight results occurred against teams worse than us on paper. That was emphasized in the DFB Pokal versus Dynamo Dresden. Away at the lower divisions club, we got pushed into extra time. A victory was achieved by the end thanks to Nelson, but not being able to rest some players before Hoffenheim wasn't ideal. Duarte Gaia opened it up a half hour in, but we couldn't find a second, no thanks to this Holthaus strike. Then, with 5 to go, before I was able to make a sub, Hoffenheim's corner led to another chance. With Leipzig and Dortmund close in the table, it would be disheartening to drop below them. However, minutes before the 90, we won a free kick, and Onyek Boule stepped up. A clutch free kick to win this fixture, and with several more in the league, including a Duarte Gaia brace versus Mainz, we were 3 points clear at the top. December brought more drama with Dortmund and Bayern coming up, but before them, nothing was going our way against Freiburg. I thought it was supposed to be easy, and it should have been, yet our scoring prowess was not here. Freiburg were inching closer to an undeserved draw. Corner kick, 92nd minute, top the box on Onyek Boule. Duarte. Yes! Let's go! That took a lot of effort. However, we won, which I couldn't say concerning Cologne. Take the Freiburg match and delete the last minute winner, resulting in a 0-0. Luckily, we still kept our small gap at the top as we entered the toughest part of the season. What else is there to say about Dortmund? We're tired of seeing them lift the Bundesliga. A problem was Holthaus's awful form. He's got the physicals and mentals to be a threat, but his concentration and lack of consistency hindered him this campaign. I just can't give up on him yet. So we began, and they hit the woodwork from point blank range. All remained calm until half an hour in, where Wiper wins a header, leading to the most unorthodox of give and goes between Duarte Gaia and Valle, seeing the Brazilian open the encounter. A couple moments later, we would earn a penalty, seeing Nelson double our lead. An amazing first 45. If it wasn't for a great block, This game could have been settled post the interval, but Dortmund kept themselves alive. They were mediocre today, but remained a threat, and we gave them too much space for Adeyemi's cutback towards Nemanja. That was with 20 to go, and quickly after, they threatened again, leading to a moment of disaster for Pelletier. It was painful to lose that lead in what was going to be a great result. However, we've suffered through worse. A few subs were made, including Salmon or Holthaus, and in the 80th, Valle's delivery found his noggin to restore our lead. In Dortmund's frustration, Beraldo would get sent off, as we confirmed a massive win to keep ourselves in first. Now, it was time for Bayern. Jurgen Klopp was appointed as manager, which realistically, an evil version of him would do. But when I met him, he's quite the opposite. Bayern's results in Germany were pretty bad, which got names thrown at Jurgen like Blau, Wohl, Breit, Blusenfett, but I just called him Drunk Klopp.
But I think that's not too important for us.
Drunk or not, Bayern had a dangerous press to deal with. However, they made a massive error. Ball in the middle, but wait a minute! Duarte Correa! What a move, what a finish! 1-0, Schalke! De Ligt got sent to the shops by our Brazilian. Still, this was Bayern, and they were threatening. A big save from Smith, a great defensive line, and the post kept our lead intact. Their shooting boots continued to lack, and with another miss, we were able to set up our team defensively to close out another big victory. Our first at the Allianz. And with Holthaus grabbing a brace versus Augsburg, we officially reached the end of the Hinrunde in first. 44 points, which was 10 more than last season. Dortmund and Leipzig dropping points should have kept us at ease. Our final Rückrunde arrived, and if we remain in the title race, the ending of the season could be troublesome. Surviving January was crucial, and it began with Duarte Correa maintaining his form versus Leverkusen. Looking like the right-footed Arjen Robben, his strike would be added alongside Holthaus's. The German would hit the post at the beginning of the second half, but what seemed a sure win faded away. Arnau Martinez's cross was tapped in by a wide-open Kaminski, and a few more close calls arrived. All the momentum shifted to Leverkusen, and they were able to complete the comeback. Some guy named Laurin Ulrich was sent in, and didn't have a great angle to shoot. No, that was his only goal in the Bundesliga. Then came the DFB Pokal third round, where of course, we would be drawn with Leipzig. Ignoring the match we don't talk about, the recent draws have been cruel, and Saruri's error led to the Tin Cans opening the affair. We weren't going to fall easily to them though, so Ouedraogo found Wiper, who neatly tucked in the equalizer. Although, it's not simple to win at their house, and that was showcased with Azon skipping past Valle, finding an unmarked Zewald for their second. Did we forget how to mark after the interval? The answer was a resounding... A fourth game sending us out of the competition, me suing the DFB for biased drawing selections, which resulted in a countersuit of defamation. Well, could we get revenge against the one team who beat us in the Bundesliga? 0-0 draw. Well, what about revenge against the side that just beat us? Another 0-0. 4 drop points in the Bundesliga meant our lead fell to 2, with Borussia Dortmund 4 behind. With that context, champions! Through 6 matches, we were placed in 7th, with the only blemish being an unlucky 3-0 loss to Real Madrid at home. And no, Napoli did not happen. Unlucky versus Madrid in the sense that they signed this striker instead of me. Regardless, I've never finished in the top 8 with Schalke, but it was going to be difficult with Juventus and Barcelona. We hosted the old lady first, and no matter what variation of the 4-2-2 they used, Duarte Correa's masterful dribbling will cause you problems one way or another, and we'd head into the final fixture with a 2-0 victory thanks to Holthaus scoring his 50th goal for Schalke. Now in 6th place, there remained a couple contenders for the remaining spots, including our next opponents. Things became clear when Matchday 8's Tuesday fixtures finalized. 2 of these 3 would likely fall out, with Manchester United facing Inter and Bayern surely defeating Lech Poznan. A draw will be enough for your boys, but I made a mistake.
I don't even know what to say, bro.
I've been using Urbig in the cup competitions, but forgot to put him in here. My strategy into this was hooving it up to the big men. Barcelona are filled with players that can't jump, while my lineup had nobody with an attribute below 13. The strategy nearly paid off in the 16th minute, but somehow we didn't equalize. Despite my plan, Lamine Yamal nearly scored a header himself. Later, they hit the bar by avoiding a normal corner. Then this somehow happened off another. A draw was still in reach, and instead of creating chances by hoofing it, a moment of complacency by Barca saw Ouedraogo capitalize, finding Wiper, leading to João Neves tackling the ball to Murstet for the equalizer. Fast forward to the closing moments, and Elijah Smith's kick of the pitch was easily won by Barca, and they were about to create the game-deciding goal. But Elijah made a humongous save, seeing us leave with a draw. The plan didn't go as expected, but we did enough to finish in the top 8, right above Barca. No extra matches for us, which is huge, especially with Dortmund and Bayern in the same situation. Returning to the Bundesliga, it continued with a routine win over Duisburg. Wiper and Duarte both scored. The following day, Elijah Smith unfortunately suffered a virus infection. Not sure how, but I'd assume he'd recover by Wolfsburg. Not ideal. Although Smith will be recovered by then. Oh no. Wait, I didn't sell Montipo. Let me call him up from the second team.
Can you tell me, is this heaven or hell?
No other keeper was available because their under-19s and second team played on the same day. So the only players available were lads from the local pub named Ramel and Rakowski. However, I have an idea. I know when I paid $77 million for you to prevent goals from going into my net, you didn't imagine that job requiring gloves, did you? Bro. I know expectations should be low, but even I would have saved that. Hey, who pulled that out? Now you'd think we'd be able to score at least one. But when Holthaus' point-blank shot gets tipped onto the bar and Wiper hits the post in added time, maybe it wasn't our day. Alright, who's next? Stuttgart? Come right in, I got something to show you once again. 2 additional victories followed, including 3 strikes from Nelson, leading to our round of 16 encounter versus PSV. It could have been more difficult, but then I remembered that Ajax tie in the Europa League and knew we had to be serious in Eindhoven. I can't lie though, seeing an old Denzel Dumfries at center back raised my eyebrows. Only a true fraud would consider doing that. For ourselves, I began running this front 4 consistently because Holthaus was the opposite of that. Together, they were cooking in Germany, and to start this encounter, goals nearly happened. PSV got close too, but by the 15th minute, Nelson Wiper would not home the opener. Everything seemed good until... Oh no, what is that? Oh, we should be fine. What? Both center halves were at fault, leaving us frustrated at the half. Then, something odd happened. Alex Valle gets a lot of assists with his left foot, which makes sense. He has never scored with that foot, and he'd continue not to do so, because he curled it in with his weaker one. I would have loved a bigger advantage going into the second leg, but I should have been happy with what I had, because before I could realize and say the name Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, PSV equalized. After a 5-year Saudi stay, he arrived on a free to PSV, aiding to a 2-all draw. A sufficient 2-0 win over Mainz occurred prior to the second leg, but we were eager to reach the quarters for the first time. A little luck was required as Ouedraogo's deflection led to Onyek Boulay's opener. Despite an early onslaught, nothing else went in until close to the half. PSV had a corner, and the second ball led to a shot from Beltran, whose strike conveniently hits Andrelson's lifted foot at the perfect angle, equalizing the aggregate. Just like in the first leg though, we were first to pounce to go back ahead. A penalty won by Ouedraogo, slotted in by Wiper. An insurance goal wasn't required, as we narrowly moved on to the quarters. More triumphs brought comfort in the Bundesliga, with these 3 making it 7 on the trot. Ouedraogo rediscovering himself was especially sweet. I can't say the same with Holthaus. Meanwhile, Dortmund and Leipzig were both dropping points. BVB with a couple draws and a loss to Drunk Klopp, while Leipzig were inconsistent and also succumbed to Drunk Klopp. Bayern, meanwhile, lost some momentum after being eliminated in Europe by Napoli. Dortmund remained the closest challengers, but with an 8-point gap, the reality of our first Bundesliga crown was near. But if we fall into a bad run before the Big 2, I don't even want to think about that. So, on the 8th of April 2031, we faced a team that made us remember such a shameful night. Napoli were having a fantastic Serie A campaign, which saw them win the title. No thanks to the few guys mentioned earlier having ridiculous seasons. Luis Enrique was their current boss, but no matter who was in charge, Serie A almost became automatic with 5 titles in 6 years. Although, a few weeks prior to our encounter, they lost to Inter at home, who used the secret plan. That was a little too much power to use from the get-go, but to avoid a 5-star beatdown again, I pushed the cam out wide, replacing them with Hold House. Have I learned from my previous mistake? The stats didn't think so, with them having several shots before we could muster one. But when we did attack, disaster struck for them. In what looked like a routine grab by Maret, something wasn't right, as he needed treatment. That led to a substitution, because he tore his wrist ligaments. 18-year-old Maurizio Dapice had to fill in. On one end, we had Elijah Smith making an insane save. On the other, Sarue, who accidentally put in Slebyung, broke through and took the lead. A tactical error turns into a genius decision. To end the half, Fati had this point-blank miss. Following, another unfortunate moment for Napoli, as they replaced Van Hecke at right back with Soldani. It seems as if all their money was spent on the attack. Still, they made it struggle to get shots on net, so why not try from distance? Here we go, pass. Oh yes! Take advantage, shoot on sight. Let's do it. We should have made it 3, but Holdhouse, now at advance forward, missed this one-on-one. Bro, I've been training you to round the keeper for months. Nevertheless, 2-0 away seemed like it would be enough. A huge thanks to Smith, making Napoli's forwards look fraudulent. Before the second leg, we had to deal with Freiburg, which gave little chance to rotate as any drop points would be risky. Thankfully, a brace from Wiper allowed me to rest some guys later on. We were prepared to eliminate Napoli. Corner kick 4. Our opponents and they score first. Not ideal to allow a goal this early, and they nearly did it again. Soon, we restored our advantage. Offside? How? He's running in front of him. I don't want to say more. Unfortunately, the sole shot on target from both sides was the only one scored. The next shot on target will be a goal too, with Valle barely touching Buonanni, whose blatant dive gave Napoli a penalty, equaling the tie. A lot of our good players were having bad games, and while the opposition hadn't created much, they pushed it to extra time. With penalties on the horizon and many bodies tired, I took a risk and subbed on guys better from the spot, although Max Morstedt nearly got the winner at the end, separated by pens. We had our best going first, and they had an average 18-year-old in net. Doku, top bins. Wiper, bottom corner. Fati, not being stopped. Morstedt, saved. Okay, we can save this. We can save these. We can save these, please. Yes, Smith. Duarte Cahea placed it well, and Bergval would also be stopped by Smith. Ouedraogo then gave us the edge, heading into the final round. Galich, who started this drama, tucked it home, which means if Jung scores, we move on. However, flashing back 2 years ago, his penalty miss versus Leipzig led to our elimination. Since then, thousands of pens have been practiced, all for this moment, where he slotted down the middle, a Champions League semi-final where we'd face Borussia Dortmund. Facing BVB 3 times within 10 days was all the talk. Never has the Ruhr Derby held so many stakes, but before the Bundesliga encounter, there was one more match day. We had Köln and Dortmund had Leverkusen. They would lose. Meaning, if we defeat Köln, our gap expands to 11 with 3 to go. Even a draw would make things great, but clinching it at home and then focusing on the semis was the ideal scenario. Schalke haven't won Germany's first division since 1958, 5 years before the Bundesliga's inception. No top flight trophy since 2011, 20 years. And this drought can finally end. Köln are solid, so I played a strong team. And of course, they scored first. A frustrating half. But maybe I was asking too much out of this 11. With over 30 to go, I got desperate and widened the formation. As a drunk man once said, I underwent a hair transplant. I think the results are pretty cool, don't you?
What a story!
Don't you? 69th minute, we score, but it's offside. 70th minute, Holthaus.
That was the worst football performance I've seen in a very long time.
72nd minute, Bolek scores his first for the club, 9 points clear. Due to Holthaus' uselessness, I decided to remove his wide role and replace him with Onyegbule. The substitute got close. Before thinking of my next move, Köln kept chugging along and sent a ball in behind De Brunner. The former Dortmund player was about to ruin my night. but Smith kept him out. We were entering added time.
Win that, please. Wait, win that. Valle, good job. Ogawa. Onyegbule. Onyegbule! Oh my gosh! A 93rd minute goal! Onyegbule!
They're going to get their wish any second now. There it is! Schalke are the champions!
We have done it! Schalke are Bundesliga champions for the first time since 1958. Oh my gosh, doing it so late, but we kept it till the end. We didn't have our best game, but we kept our focus till the very end. And we win the league 3 match days early. Let's go. I wish we could just celebrate this, but there's more to achieve. Before the Champions League semi-final, we rotated against Dortmund in the Bundesliga, and Matarazzo was surprisingly happy for me. Although, the look on his face as his side gave us a guard of honor at their stadium felt so good. Unfortunately, we lost this due to some late cheese, but they can have it. The real discussion was which one of us will make the final. On their way here, Dortmund defeated Manchester City in the round of 16, 1-0, and then knocked down Real Madrid 5-2 on aggregate. They deserved their spot, and just like in the dress rehearsal, it was tight. Nobody wanted to make that mistake, but it also helped that they were missing their key man, Max Alsteit. The first noteworthy moment arrived after the interval.
Carrera running up the wing. Carrera running. Whip into the back post. We throw goal!
At the Westfalenstadion, that was massive, and a huge advantage was in our sights. Yet, they were able to force a mistake from Jung and pounced. Walters found Adeyemi, who had a difficult job, but his delivery somehow got to Nemencha. This guy again? Oh, what a frustrating goal to concede. That upper hand vanquished with all to play for at the Veltins Arena. Bayern in between actually saw us defeat drunk Klopp again, despite me only bringing on the starters after the 60th minute.
Bayern lost.
Klopp laughed it off, but their board did not look impressed. A small issue was that Wiper wasn't fully fit for the second leg due to a light shin injury. I also went bold and played Emre Salman in this match. Dropping Ouedraogo was controversial, but what might surprise you is Hincapié starting. He eventually cemented that role with Kovacevic, and the Ecuadorian's early block was reassuring. With little going on, both sides couldn't be separated, but that changed in the last 15, as they scored. Heartbreak avoided, but that feeling could still happen. Nothing of note occurred in the extra periods, until we zoomed to the final seconds.
Back to Valle. Off the post! Wiper. Oh, man.
3 of the previous 4 champions of Germany wouldn't be separated, so penalties was the only way.
Separates us from the Champions League final, and Šeško misses first. Now Wiper's stepping up, and he slots it in. He is dead tired, though. We got the advantage. And Palacios misses! Yes! Smith with 2 saves already in the shootout. And we can already go 2-0 up. The Brazilian, Correa. Bang! Konate now. He slots it in. Ouedraogo, not had a good game off the bench, but he can make it 3-0. He misses the net. He misses the net completely. Can Bozdogan now. He hits the post! What is happening in this shootout? Who's next? Jung. Oh, can he do it again? Can Jung send us to the Champions League final? He does!
This season has gone my way. However, we set up this team well, and I don't have a position where I have to worry. The last match day saw Augsburg defeated and sent to the second division, confirming us with 83 points. A huge thanks to our top scorer, Nelson Wiper, finally showing his potential with 22 goals. Elijah Smith was brilliant, grabbing the most clean sheets while conceding a mere 15. The Spanish fullbacks were huge, grabbing 8 assists each, plus the midfield depth carried the load when others were injured or underperforming. Ogawa and Sarure included, who both got into the Bundesliga Team of the Season. Then Duarte Gea, who ended the campaign on 12 goals and 13 assists, handing him the Bundesliga Player of this. Jamal Musiala won it? Finally, there's me, receiving the trainer of the season. We definitely overperformed, but we could further cement our legacy with Schalke and win their first Champions League. The opponents were PSG. All roads lead to them. Seriously, they've won the previous 3 finals. By tight margins, yes, but they know how to do it. On their way here, they got by Lyon, Porto, and AC Milan. Ligue 1? Never lost it. Coupe de France? Won a majority. Who's managing? Mikel Arteta. The team had guys you would know from 8 years ago. Donnarumma in net, Hakimi at right back, Nuno Mensch on the left, an imposing midfield of Ugarte, Vitinha, and Xavi Simons, and Kolo Muani up front. Some changes included Kim Min-jae and an Italian named Nicolo Rocca at the back. On the wings, they had options like Ferran Torres, Schalke, Ousmane Dembele, and Jadon Sancho. Of course, how can I not mention the legend, Kylian Mbappe? Although, only an icon according to PSG fans. As always, stopping him was going to be a challenge, especially with no right back. Walde was injured weeks ago, but days before the match, Sergio Carrera pulled his knee ligaments. I did buy a guy from Anderlecht in the winter, but I loaned him for some reason. I had no natural options available. Although, Pelletier did play there against Augsburg for a little, and actually got an assist. Not ideal, but it's him or Academy boy, Alsgut. Breaking news, just in. Kylian Mbappe will miss out on the Champions League final with an injury. This apparently occurred 4 days ago. No Kylian Mbappe. There also wouldn't be Gonzalo Ramos and Kim Min-jae. That left the Parisians scrambling, leading to Nuno Mensch starting in central defense. Still, they're strong, and we had issues too, but I wouldn't want it any other way. On a warm evening in Amsterdam, where we wore our white-away kit, the match got started. However, off a corner kick, Nuno Mensch plays it short, receives it back, and finds Simons. With a little bit of dribbling, he returns it to Mensch, who escapes Wiper for the opener. It's annoying, but there's a lot of time. We were aggressive in the middle and got ourselves storming up the pitch. Not long after their goal, Dwar Kahea was found, dribbling past Hakimi to equalize. You can't take us lightly, PSG, and that goal exposed them. We began creating decent opportunities, and they kept making mistakes. Rosa down on the ground, currently injured, but we have a chance. Threatening in their box. We draw goal! 2-1! Schalke! But we win it back. No. Big save by Smith. But he was offside. It's all good, all good. A 2-1 lead at half was unexpected, and PSG had to react. They brought up Ugarte and their left back Christensen for Bidstrup and 37-year-old Marquinhos. This was going to be his last match as a professional, and it's unfortunate that he got wrapped up with his Brazilian compatriot. Ooh, blocked. Let's see. Can we do something? What a dribble. Back post. Yes! Wiper makes it 3! Oh my days. What a mistake by Donnarumma. What a move by Kahea. Are we actually doing this? 2/3 through the encounter, and we hadn't seen much from them. However, if you give quality players even a breath, they will make you pay. And that was how PSG got within 1. They're a team of winners. Even without their main man, you still maintain that aura when you've won 3 in a row. I didn't have much to respond with. Although, Holthaus came on as a pacey option up top. Meanwhile, PSG's only other option at that role was Xavi Simons. From there, time went on, and we shifted to our 3 defensive midfield formation with Ogawa subbed on to secure our lead. The end was near, all PSG could do was foul, and the final whistle went. Yes, we've won the Champions League! Let's go! Oh my gosh, we've done it! We've done it! We've won the Champions League! Oh my days! Yes! We've beaten the 3-time champs! Oh my gosh, I can't believe this! Taken from 16th place in the 2nd division to now Bundesliga and Champions League winners in our 8th season. It was a topsy-turvy ride with some fun highs and really low lows. While the journey was at times frustrating, I do want to thank you all for watching and showing support for this series or any of the ones in the past. I hope you enjoyed the finale of .fm. I'll be updating parts of my Patreon by the time the Supercut comes out. Meanwhile, if you want to continue this save, I do have a tier where you can download and continue the journey with Schalke. There's also the lowest tier where if you at least subscribe to that, I will put your name at the end of future videos.